You are now listening to the Music Lifestyle Culture Podcast. Yo, my people, welcome to another episode of the Music Lifestyle Culture.
Every week. Music, Lifestyle and Culture Podcast. Go on, you got to do it. Boom. Is it boom?
Boom.
Stupid.
How's your day been, Esther? What's going on? How's your weekend been? Don't tell me you've been granny.
No.
And all that.
No, on the weekend, do you know what? My weekend was actually good because it was obviously a hot weekend.
What, and you put me on a band to talk to you?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The reason my weekend was good is because I had to put him on a ban. I had to send him a message on, was it Friday or Saturday? And I put it on my Insta and I messaged him and I said, you are barred from messaging me until Monday. I've had enough. I'm tired. Obviously, he don't listen. My weekend was really good until he messaged me on Sunday. I was having a really good day. I was in the park. I was enjoying myself.
I know you had a really good day in the park, enjoying yourself. You didn't do fuck all for work. You didn't do fuck all.
No, I was out with my family, enjoying myself. And then I got some, you know, like before when I said, I can't remember what week it was in the group. Sometimes I go on WhatsApp and it's blah, 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 just verbal diarrhea from Bouncer. Verbal. Dinner. And I was looking at the message, I was thinking, okay, all right, okay. And then I thought, you know what? You know, sometimes the best way is to ignore people. I'm learning this, but some people don't take a hint. And I ignored him and he came back because I wasn't responding. But now my weekend was good. It was a nice hot weekend. The weather was nice. It was just good to be out with family and stuff. So I don't get to do that often, to be honest with you, because I'm just tired come weekend. So it was nice. Park life. What else did I do on Saturday? I can't remember. Obviously, I was watching soaps, but that's another story. Go on. What did you do?
Yeah, man. My weekend was good. Busy. Obviously, we went to Crepes. Crepes had a barbecue, and it was just good to be around my friends and, you know, like just us and enjoy it. But one thing though, I'm wearing shorts and my legs has been bitten up. Bite up.
Do you know what? You just reminded me.
The mosquitoes coming like they've come from Jamaica, you know?
On Saturday, I just remembered one of my good friends, love her to pieces, Shasha. It was her birthday and she had like a little gathering. She had a little gathering in the forest, like the mosquitoes. I was like, I'm not in Jamaica. I'm going home. I'm not having this.
No,
I had to leave.
The forest thing is a last year.
No, the
I
bites.
went to bit up my head was cocoa. No, like cocoa. See my legs. The way I'm scratching up scratching them.
And you put no calamine lotion on them.
No, none of that. None of that.
If you told your mum,
we're in England. There shouldn't be mosquitoes like that.
I don't know.
I'm raising up my leg and scratching. I don't even care about if it peels off. Like if it's itching me. It's itching me. So apart from that, yeah, I had a good weekend, and obviously I went to the gym today, and I'm running. But, you know, I've been doing shisha a lot, so I'm running. I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, I'm running like,
yeah, because I'm like, you're a smoker. You smoke. You smoke.
I don't smoke.
You smoke. If you're the shisha pipe, you're like, it's your lungs, isn't it? So that's why when you're on the treadmill, it rubs you out. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But
a couple days before I'm running, and obviously I'm trying to get fit. Trying to lose weight.
I told you already, it's not happening. Just forget about it. Leave it.
Right.
This is not happening. I said it on the last episode.
Why you got another hat on?
No, but the joke
Why you got another hat? What's this one called?
No, do you know
No. What's this one called?
No,
you told me.
No, it's not. I'm not. No,
wait,
hang on.
Behind the cameras, you're like, next one bounce, I'm back. You get me?
No. Do you know
what you said? Oh, I cancelled my podcast for you.
Guys, I'm gonna say this. I did say next one bounce around back, but you know what? I couldn't get to the hairdressers.
Why? What happened?
My appointment got cancelled. So I'm going this week. So I know everyone's thinking, Shree's got a hat on the past 3 weeks, but it's all good. I'm going to the hairdressers, I promise you.
Yeah,
I promise you. And that's what I
told you. See your voice as well. Real talk. Even when we're in the Zoom call, I saw like there was something I put up on my Snap. She said, I think it was something like, oh, don't you wonder, like there's a girl that always talks. Don't you wish that she had a boyfriend so she can just shut up and be happy?
Do you know what? I tell you what, yeah? You're one of those people, when you phone me or in the Zoom calls, I wish you had a mute button. Do you know how much? You know what? I'm going to put a poll on my Instagram. I guarantee you 99.9% of your friends say they wish they could put you on mute.
My friends.
Your friends. Guarantee you. They will say they wish they can put you on mute. I'm telling you, they will bounce.
No way. But anyway, moving on. Moving on. We got a special guest, man.
Yes, we have.
We got someone very, very, very different.
Unique is the word, not
special.
Yeah, special. Not different.
Not special.
We're not. But why every week vocabulary issues?
What do you mean?
We've got somebody special on the show today. I don't like the word.
Don't copy my special. You say unique. I said special.
Well, unique then. We've got someone unique on the show today. His name is Kelvin, and he is a pencil artist. And I know a lot of people are probably...
Don't wait. Let's not... Let's say it again. Say it with a bit more raw.
No.
A bit more raw.
This is what I'm saying. If anybody knows how to mute Bouncer, DM me, innit? I hadn't even finished yet. You do the intro.
No,
go on, because you started talking.
No. We got the amazing Kelvin. Not only a pencil artist, his work is...
mad.
Love.
It is.
No,
it's his work is amazing.
I got sent a link on Insta, and I promise you, it made me emotional.
Yeah,
I'm a big grown man, and watching that made me like, I don't know the music, like the way how you done it.
It was the way it was articulated.
Yeah, it was emotional.
Yeah,
thank you.
It definitely was. And Kelvin, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me. Very kind
You're
words,
welcome.
man. Special and unique. I appreciate that.
Bouncer said that he watched your piece. I watched it as well, and it made him emotional. And to be honest with you, I actually felt the same. But we'll go into that piece in a little bit and to tell people what it's about. But tell us about you, Kelvin. Who are you?
So I'm a pencil artist. I don't really like to label myself, you know. I'm a being, a very hairy being who just loves to draw, really. But I feel like
you go gym a lot,
man. You know, health is wealth. They say health is wealth. Come on,
them clean and jerks are looking at this, and I used to join you, mate.
It might be my pencils; they're quite heavy.
Probably the most
days.
sensible thing that you've said. You need to join him in the gym because you definitely don't look like that. But go ahead, Kelvin.
That's love. Yeah, like I'm just a guy who loves to draw. You know, and I've been very, very fortunate that it's been picking up a bit of traction, and I just really wanted to share it with the world.
Traction.
Not a bit. Come on now, you're being a bit too. You're being very, very humble. Very, because your work is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Let's start from the part of what is a pencil artist?
So a pencil artist, in my words, is just someone who draws with pencils in a way that can kind of evoke emotions. You know, so you're using different textures, different blending tools to kind of create realism, or if it's abstract, but you're just using pencils as a medium to draw.
Okay. What age did you start doing that?
So I was 8. I didn't know. Yeah, 8 years old.
8 years old.
I didn't know why it was the pencils that I fell in love with, but it was just when I drew with it. I think the fact that when I was younger, I was quite emotional and very reactive. You know, growing up in Tottenham, the environment just allowed me to be very quite bold and out there. Yeah. But drawing for me was my peace and my calm.
Yeah.
And when I was drawing, I didn't realize that I'll be drawing like 5-6 hours a day, and I was building a skill. Because I guess there's a talent and there's skill. For me, talent for me was like having the vision to see certain things, but the skill was building the realism. So ever since I was 8, it's been drawing and drawing and drawing.
Do you know what's interesting? That you've said that you used your skill because you're somebody that, you know, you like to put your feelings, etc. on paper. It's interesting that you use the same word, overwhelm, which is what you used. So it goes to show that your art, it speaks for itself because the impact it had on Bouncer, that's who you said you are.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Like I proper took it in and saw it. Yeah, it made man emotional. Like What was it? Tell them. Just how it was presented. Like I think, what did you say? You said 250 hours.
250
hours.
How
you presented it, and you know, it just made. I've just met you, and I was like, my black brother, like I'm proud of you, like we're behind you, like your story, just watching it, and that art was for a model.
It's for Winnie Harlow. It was Winnie, and when she saw it,
she couldn't believe it.
She couldn't believe it. People definitely check it out. It's on IGTV.
You're now listening to the Music, Lifestyle and Culture podcast.
So, as you said, 250 hours. I looked at it, but it took him 250 hours of drawing. And when Winnie Harlow saw it, she was like,
she couldn't believe it.
She couldn't believe it. She was like, you even captured my pores and my hair. Did you remember? That's what she said. But she looked overwhelmed. She genuinely looks taken back.
And the creativity, the little sentence that you wrote for her and how you presented it with the artwork. Yeah, man. I saw it. I couldn't believe. I was like, how like this is 250 hours. Do you know how
long
much
is that?
So
that's about like 3 months. You can have it done in a month, but when it's quite busy, you take certain days out. But I think I can do it in 2 months.
What did it take to do that? What goes into the art that you create?
Love. And like true love, I feel like I don't really feel like I could have that love for something else in this world as I do with pencils. Like drawing, it just takes me to another realm. I'm in the zone. And so when I'm drawing someone like Winnie Harlow, it's like when I'm connecting with her story as well. So before I draw anyone, I always do the research of who they are. I like to see them speak and talk so I can get the tone of their voice. I can see what their mannerisms is like, so I'm feeling their essence. So when it comes time to put pencil to paper, it just flows. I'm enjoying their journey. I'm even having visions of me with them in their childhood. So it's quite a spiritual thing.
That's crazy.
And
that
you said,
deep.
And I know what I picked up on, you said that you looked at loads of her pictures.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember how many pictures you said, but you said you looked at hundreds of her pictures just to capture that drawing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like, you could look at an image, like one image of someone, and you will never really truly get what they look like because there's different angles of their face and their head. And it's like an image can be quite illusory. So I like to study a variety of images from different angles, different lighting, them smiling, them upset, different emotions. So I can really feel like I can capture them at an emotion.
Yeah, that's amazing. And let's take this back though, just a bit, because you said that you grew up in Tottenham.
Yeah.
How was life for you from 8 onwards? Like how was life? I know Tottenham's a very rough area, and how did you, from 8 till how was life for you?
To be very honest, like from the ages of like ever since I was born to 8 years old, life was it was lovely, bro. Like, you know, Tottenham was so multicultural, so there was people from different backgrounds that I could relate to, and it was lovely. But when I turned 8, that was when I fell in love with the pencil and drawing. But then I started to notice life outside of the house and the home. Yeah. And it was like, I saw violence, you know, and I just saw like different energetics that was different from being at home. So when I turned 11, that's when life got really real. You know, we went to Nigeria to bury my mom's father. When we got back, we found out our house was repossessed. So we were homeless.
Wow.
So it was like life took a real dip. But then that's when me drawing just took another level, because I got to a place where I couldn't go out financially, couldn't be with friends, I couldn't socialize. So I became very introverted, you know, and seeking solitude a lot. So I'll be at home drawing and drawing and drawing. But I didn't realize in that process that I was building a skill.
Yeah.
So although the world looked like it was difficult, there was a blessing happening in disguise where I had that time to draw. So yeah, since I was 8, I fell in love with drawing, and everything kind of took place from there.
You are now listening to the Music, Lifestyle and Culture podcast. So where you said it's actually interesting as well, because what I think is that you said there was a blessing in it. And I think too often people don't recognize that. For example, you were building a skill, as you said. But at any given time, did you kind of feel to yourself that, you know, this I'm going to make a career of this? When did you realize that skill was actually going to be something that was going to propel you forward?
Until very later in life, until I was like 27. So going into school, like I never ever got any encouragement to pursue it as a career, because even my teachers would say stuff like, you know, we're studying artists who are dead and deceased. So there was no kind of image or representation of someone that I could emulate and like have a blueprint to becoming an artist, because there was almost kind of no such thing that, you know, someone can actually make a living from drawing. So I never really saw art as making a living, you know, I'm profiting from it until I was like 27, you know, which is when I had like a little big break. The BBC covered a story and I got catapulted into the media, and I just saw how people were reacting to the artwork and people were buying my work, and it was like, what? You know, I can actually make a living from this, you know.
But it's still happening now though, don't you think? Because I personally I mean, I can openly admit, I couldn't tell you, for example, the last time I went to an art gallery. I've got nieces and nephews that are in infant school. No, I don't take them to art galleries. I don't encourage them to look at art. But where you just now said that, you was when you was in school, there was no one that you could emulate in that field. I feel like that's still happening now because my nieces and nephews, they don't come home and say, oh, today, auntie, we did art and we was taught how to draw a person. Do you know what I mean? It's just not, I think that that's still an issue. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I feel like that's an issue. Right. Do you know what it is? I feel like it's social media, is Fortnite, is it's
1,000,000%.
So
yeah.
Remember, how old are you?
I'm 34 now.
34. I'm 31. How old are you?
34.
Oh shit. No, I'm joking. I thought he was 40, but yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to punch this guy, He's putting thank you very much. No, not for 34. I am older. Shush. Oh. Go on. Back to the point.
I lie, yeah, tell. Anyway, so remember, our age group, this is what, there was no social media in our age group. Do you know what I mean? There was no, even, like I say, even when I went to prison, there was social media, but not like this. So the kids, they're into
computer.
Like, my daughter knows how to use a iPad more than me. Do you know what I mean? So it's they're not thinking about the basics, like a paper and pencil and learning how to draw. They want, do you know what I mean? They want Annabelle and what all these dolls and do you know what I mean? They want Fortnite, LOL.
Oh, they're so expensive.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, and the school, they're not promoting, they're not teaching art. They're not teaching the stuff that they should be.
They are teaching art, but my niece will come home and say, yeah, today we use Sharpies. That's not art. Do you see what I mean? It's like colouring in and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think I do think that it's something that needs to be seen more, which is why I think it's important that people like yourself are on platforms like this, because It's not just about aspiring to be anything else other than, whether it be an athlete, whether it be a musician, teachers, nurses, they're all good professions, but there are other things out there, such as what you're doing, pencil art.
But even like cultural background as well, like being Nigerian, like my parents, they just were like, art? Really? Go and pick your book and read. It was like,
are you mad?
They couldn't believe it. They were like, and I couldn't blame them because there was no representation, or there was no one in the family that did art that's living, that's making a living comfortably.
Yeah.
So them coming here, having myself, my younger brother, my sisters born here, they kind of felt like it was the doctors, the lawyers we could be, sufficient financially. So I couldn't really blame them for having that resistance. But now it's a different story. They're like the number one fans, and because they need to see the proof.
Very proud. I bet your mom, the pictures everywhere. That is my son. The TV, everywhere. Blessing. But I noticed you said you grew up in Tottenham, and I watched a piece as well, as Bouncer did when doing research. And you were with Wretch 32.
Oh yeah.
And that was, I think you met him some time ago.
Yes.
How do you connect that? How do you connect music to your art? Because I kind of got through going through your page that there's a musical background there with you and in what you do as well.
Well, I can tell you now, like the majority of artists, when they create, they listen to some form of music, whether it's instrumental, whether it's a musician singing or rapping, there is music there. So whenever I draw, I love melodies. So it actually helps with the gesture when I'm drawing.
6 words.
So 6 words. Oh, whoa. That song.
I saw that on your page. That was inspirational.
His energy, like he's art as
his art form in his music.
And you see him in the music, like culture. Even when speaking to Conan, you see out of everyone, they're like, see Wretch, see his energy, him as a person. He's a loving brother. You know what I mean? So I can see why it resonates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even when he made, I can't remember the year, but Don't Go, Don't Leave.
Yeah.
His music, when I listen to Wretch, he takes me back immediately to where I was. So for example, when he put Tractor out, that was when I first got into the music industry. When
he 30 years old then.
You fool. That's when I first got into the industry. His music, it takes me back to certain places. So I can kind of see how, would you listen to him when you're doing your work?
Fully. Like Wretch I feel like he's a storyteller, and when he speaks, he paints such vivid images, and it's his it's his spirit. It's that his soul that you can kind of I resonate with. So he came to my exhibition, my debut exhibition in 2014, like really showing support when everything first happened. And I have so much love and respect for that guy, man.
No, man.
Major.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
Excellent. So
I noticed in all my podcasts that I'm saying amazing. I'm going to change that amazing word.
No,
to
what I was going to
else.
say is I'm glad that you actually said that because
you can't page me.
No,
I will change
it's not
it.
that I'm going to page you, but I can see someone's been reading their thesaurus, you know.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, you've been getting better. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
From week one with importance.
I was listening. I was like, I keep on saying amazing. I've just noticed.
It's your word of the week. It's your word of the week.
I'm banned from saying that.
That's what I'm saying. Watching too much of them kids programs.
You wear too much hat
with your daughter. Shut up, idiot.
You wear too much hat.
Anyway,
on
back
podcast.
to the discussion. 3 weeks. Back to the discussion.
You're now listening to the Music, Lifestyle and Culture podcast.
So I was in Oxford Street one day, minding my own business as I do, shopping. And I came to I think it's Sports Direct, opposite Flannels.
That's right, yeah.
And then I saw some people's images flashing in the window. Lauryn Hill, Nelson Mandela, Fela Kuti, Naomi Campbell, JME, so many different people. Beyonce, Will. Was it Will and Jada?
Yeah, Will and Jada, yeah.
Will and Jada. Was that before the entanglement?
Yeah, that was before the entanglement.
Yeah.
10
Will
years
and,
before.
Will and Jada, Prince,
yes.
Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah.
The list is endless. So many powerful people, black images. And to be honest with you, I didn't know it was you that created that. I only knew it was Kelvin that created that through us saying we're going to bring you onto the podcast and seeing your work.
And you kind of, when you see things that they look amazing, you don't think about who made this. You just think,
I thought it was Flannels.
This is dope.
I thought it was Flannels. I saw it and I thought, is that how Flannels is going on? I actually thought, okay, but then when I did my homework, it made sense. Because if I'm honest with you, what I saw, that had to have come from a certain space. Do you understand what I mean? As 100%. A black woman seeing that had to be curated from a certain space. Tell us about that.
Wow. So the fact that I had my work on display in Oxford Street in such a large scale was wild to me, because I'm thinking about where I came from. You know, growing up in Tottenham, you know, going to Oxford Street was like, yeah, let's go to Oxford Street. We're going to go to shops or chap some girls. It was never like, and there's like, they say there's 500,000 people that walk through Oxford Street. So to know that I could have a space where my works are showcased was truly just overwhelming. So with that platform, with the kind of climate that we're in right now with Black Lives Matter, like I decided to select some black people that I've drawn that could really represent, that I feel are great representations of how black people are seen in a positive light. You know, with Nelson Mandela, JME, with like the birth, you know, Boy Better Know, just these Tiny Temper, these people have been able to just, I guess, give a fresh perspective of how black people are seen, you know, in a positive light. So I really wanted to just like have their faces there, people walking by and just reminding them, and also normalizing people with their faces. Because Oxford Street, it's so diverse with the tourism that people that come through there.
But not the shop windows.
Yeah. So having black faces on there, I kind of felt like I really wanted to just showcase these people and for people to actually go into their story and see that they've been able to give something positive to this world.
How did you do that though? As in, did they approach you?
Oh yeah. So there's, you know, this 6 degrees of separation, and then there's the internet. So it's just amazing how connections are so powerful. Yeah. So like my manager, you know, he had like a few people that he knew, connections, and they had already been aware of my art. Like shout out to Mark Dell from W1 Curates. He saw my works and he was just like, he needs to have it on the screen.
Excellent.
And then that's how that came about.
Shout out Mark. I don't even know him, but that's amazing.
Shout him out.
Yeah.
W1 Curates, yeah.
That is definitely amazing. Yeah.
Imagine even your family just seeing that. That's emotional, you know?
Yeah.
Like seeing the struggles and you've come from, and seeing your artwork around. That's crazy.
Yeah. On insane.
How did you feel about that? Because I know, you know, when I'm always walking about, and you know, people's like, oh, you're doing well, but I never credit myself. I'm just like, thank you, I appreciate it, but I don't take it in. like certain moments. I think there's been like one moment that I've actually took it in, like raw. I'm actually doing well, but you as a like, do you take it in how well that you've done
and where you've come from?
Where you've
what
come
you've
from.
achieved.
It's a great question, but unfortunately, I don't. Fortunately and unfortunately, the reason why I don't is because I don't really want to internalize it, because I feel like that's where the ego comes into it, and that's where I get content. Like I feel like there's so much more for me to do. I
can relate to that, and I'm not.
I relate to that even with music, because I see with artists like they'll make a hit or a banger, and they feel like now that because I've made that banger, we can take our foot off and we can release anything. Do you know what I mean? So and yeah, man, that is so the humbleness and just grounded.
Keep going, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm major grateful. Like, it's really insane when I do think about, you know, where I've come from and how I've been able to have that platform. But I just know that there's still so much more for me to do whilst there's still breath in my lungs.
And when you're like, we obviously we've been speaking about all the positives, but your mental health, like putting your mind through this much concentration,
250 hours, you know,
just for one
piece,
and not just like, how is your mental health as a person? Like, just it's hard to even explain it, but. Not even just 250 hours drawing, like the things, like everything behind, like just getting your mind in that mode to be like, okay, cool. Because you still have real life stuff that you have to deal with, your family, whatever, the bills. But it's not even just
emotions.
The bills. It's like your family might have something might be happening at your family's house, and do you know what I mean?
You got to do. You're focused.
So how is your like how are you mentally? How do you like? How are you as like mentally?
Oh, like I would say, the reason why I feel like I've been able to still remain sane is because art for me is that release. Like it's my therapy. It's healing. It's when I draw, I don't really think. I'm just in the moment, and I'm
therapeutic.
Very therapeutic.
I'm telling you that Thesaurus was out this week. I'm telling you that Thesaurus was out.
Therapeutic. I know about that.
It was out.
I know about therapeutic.
It was out. That's gonna be a meme. Carry on, Kelvin.
But yeah, it's completely therapeutic, you know, and that's what gives me the peace and the sanity. But then it's when I take my pencil off the paper, and then so this is like, you know, in my early teens, when I'm just beginning to just really experience life and going through the struggles after having a repossession. It was like, when I'm not drawing, I'm looking at the world around me, and it's like, excuse my language, damn, like this is rough. Like it's you know, I was suicidal at 17. Life just was really, really, really heavy for me. But then it was like, when I'm not drawing. So when I did draw, I'm just in another world and I'm flowing. So that's why I kind of feel like I got myself to a place of skill that is probably a bit above the norm, because I was constantly drawing every moment I could, because I didn't want to face the reality around me.
That's a blessing in the I won't use the word, but that's a blessing in itself, because I think when you are going through some shit in life,
that's your way out.
For you to be able, because there's people that don't have a way out. For you to have a way out, there's people that have to deal with it on a day-to-day and just go with whatever mood. For you to be able to pick up that pencil, in a way, for me, it saved your life.
100%.
That's what I'm hearing.
100%, man. 100%.
That's what I'm hearing, that it saved your life.
It's just, the difficult part was, you know, it saved a life and it gave me peace. But then the reality hit where I'm getting older and my family are like, okay, you didn't go to school to do law and become a doctor. Where's the money coming from? So I had to face reality in that sense, that although I love this thing, it's not really bringing in an income. So that's where, you know, it got even more difficult, because whilst I'm drawing, that in my mind, that will sometimes come through, and it's like, okay, Kelvin, you're enjoying this moment right now, but there's a lot of pressure when you're not drawing, and your family's putting a lot of pressure on you to make a living. Society's putting pressure on me, you know? So
definitely.
But then it's taking a leap of faith. Like, I just decided to just go all in. And then I was very, very fortunate in 2013 when the BBC filmed me, covered my story, and that kind of took me off.
Do you feel that where the pencil art is kind of like your release and stuff, did that encourage you to do the online course that you're doing? Because you're actively sharing with people and wanting to help people grow into the field. What was behind that?
Thank you for asking that question. I guess that was done during this lockdown as well. So I found that everyone was on there. Like this lockdown period was crazy as well. Crazy. I can't believe we actually went through something like this in our lifetime.
Is that how it affected you?
Yeah. So I saw that people were just, in a positive way, people were at home and they were yearning for something creative to do. So knowing that everyone was on their laptops and just trying to find something creative, I wanted this, and people were also depressed as well. I kind of felt like, because my art gives me a lot of peace, if I can create something that can kind of inspire people and get their mind off the reality for a moment and just enjoy the moment, I'm going to create this thing. So it's an online academy, Kelvin Okafor Art, where I'm just teaching people how to draw. So for beginners, advanced artists can learn. And I'm just like, I narrate as well. Man. So I'll talk through the journey and just helping them through art.
That's amazing, man. And
you use that word again.
Amazing.
Okay, that's good. Well, what am I meant to say? I'm trying.
There's so many other words. Beans, give us some more words.
No, don't call Beans. Don't talk. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic.
That sounds too cliche. Does that a good word? That sounds too cliche.
Fantastic. Yeah. Cliche.
You spoke about helping others when you was going like building. Was it hard, like, because the pencil art, like the world that you're in is a different world? And I'm just gonna say it. If there are many black brothers in that world, like how difficult was it for you to kind of break through and get help? Like was people open arms like when you're reaching out to them, or was it like you was hitting brick walls and like to try and get to the next stage?
Cool. So like it's a subject I guess we have to definitely discuss. Like we can't run away from it, like the race situation. Fortunately, it was 2009, I graduated from university. And when I graduated in fine art, it was like, okay, I've done those 3 years of degree, but what do I do next? There was no direction of where I could go to become something with my art. So the internet. So my friends were like, my peers were like, Kelvin, join Facebook. You can connect with old friends. So I did that in 2010, joined Facebook, saw some of my old primary school friends, was connecting online. And that was like the first time I was really using the internet. So then from browsing the internet, I found that there were like art websites where I could showcase my art in. So I was showcasing my art in different art websites. And then slowly but surely, I was building a small little following. But it wasn't to the point where it is right now. It was like really, really humble. But then I had no awards. There was no accolades. There was not really much story about me. So when I shared my work online, it was like the following was growing, like about 200 people. But then there was no proof that this was genuine. So people looking at my work, what they usually say is, oh, it looks like a photograph. And back then, there was no work in progress. There's no meets and greets with people like Winnie Harlow. Like there was nothing that people can say that works with genuine. So what ended up happening was in September 2010, people were like, there was so much praise, but then one day I got a direct message. Someone said, read this, you fake Nigerian scam artist. I was like,
what?
Whoa. So that just completely came out of nowhere. I'm thinking like, really? So I opened up, it was a blog. I opened up the blog and it was a blog about why my works were fake. And in this website, there were several artists that I respected, but it was like, reading the comments, they were like, yeah, I knew he was fake. He was only 24. How can anyone draw like that? Blah, 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 blah. Nigerians are scam artists. So in that period of time, you could literally type my name into Google and it was like Kelvin Okafor, scam artist. So although it was like a compliment, because I hear it now, like it looks like a photograph, but it got quite racial. And then I'm like, damn, like this thing that gave me so much joy, even to the point where there were people who wanted commissions. There were like people inquiring to draw their kids. They ended up looking at the work and then seeing that blog, sent me an email saying, do you know what? We discovered your works were fake. You're a disgrace. Took back the deposits, like just couldn't believe. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So that compliment that I felt turned into just complete like despair. So I ended up spending 3 months away from social media. And that's like, you know, because I kind of felt like, oh man, I'm graduate from university, I'm on the social media, I'm building a following, people are inquiring to buy drawings, and then it's all of a sudden, my name is tarnished and it's tainted.
You got tested. You got tested.
The make or break.
You know, you went through a test, but everything is written, but you went through that.
Testimony comes at the end.
Absolutely.
There's no testimony without the test.
Absolutely. So it was actually the biggest blessing of any. So I would say that period was the greatest period I've experienced as an artist, because what ended up happening was 2011, I took 3 months away from social media, and I made a vow to never ever look at comments again if I was to post something. Because what ended up happening was I was reading the comments like, Kelvin, you're great, you're amazing. you're exceptional, but then
the one bad comment pissed you off all day.
Not even just that. It was like, because it was just several. But what it was doing to me is like, when people are constantly telling you you're great, your ego expands.
Yeah.
So it was actually a blessing for me to receive the negative comments, because it was like, I need to humble myself. There's a lot more for me to do. So 3 months off, I ended up videoing myself drawing and taking pictures of the work in progress. So I was sharing on social media. I was still receiving backlash, but from sharing it and being consistent, people were like, wow, so there's actually a process to the drawing. It looks like it's genuine. So end of 2011, people came back to me and were like, wow, Kelvin, I was one of the people who criticized you, and your works are genuine. That's inspiring. 2012 happened. I had a portfolio that had like about 300 drawings that I had drawn. I decided to showcase them tangibly into exhibitions in the UK, and it won 2 awards. So I won my very first award in 2012. Out of 350 artists, the public, not the judges, the public will come into a gallery and they had to vote 1 work to win a prize.
You see?
And they chose me.
Look at that.
So it was a tremendous blessing. And then the year after, January 2013, the BBC covered the story, and that's kind of how everything happened. So something that appeared negative was actually the real blessing.
That's crazy.
If I can just take the blessing.
That's crazy.
And that's happened twice, as you said, obviously when you were younger. And then in that, because I think the most important thing for you to take away from it is that what I'm hearing from you is that, as with anything, people see, they'll see you out and say, oh, you're living your best life, or they'll see this artist. There's a lot that goes on behind closed doors. There's a lot of battles that people are facing. There's a lot of tests that people are going through when they're building their careers, just as you did, in terms of, because imagine facing that everyone's against you based on a lie, simply that they don't believe is the truth, in that you are the drawer. And then everybody's just switched. But again, social media, it's the gift and the curse. I say it all the time. It's a gift if used appropriately, but it's a curse if used inappropriately. And that's an example of it, what you've just explained to us. You are now listening to the Music, Lifestyle and Culture podcast. So you've penciled a lot of people. Name a few who you haven't drawn, who you would really like to.
Well, Wretch Free 2.
Okay.
Straight away.
Look at that. Immediately.
Would love to. I guess they say save the best for last. I feel like in his journey, I feel like he's actually, I feel like he's gone through like a spiritual journey as well, through growing the dreads. Like it means something in Rastafarianism, and just listen to his music and his message, like he's a lot more deep, or deeper, should I say. And also in my journey, I felt like in 2016, I just went to Lake District. End of 2016, when things were looking good. I had the solo exhibition, the CNN done an article on me, and I just decided to leave everything alone and just go to this place where it was just all green. Because what was happening was, I found that the drawing, this thing that I fell in love with that wasn't about money, became about money. I was forced to make it about money from being represented by a gallery in Mayfair, London. They kind of made me feel like I had deadlines and I need to sell this piece. And so I just had to get myself away from that mind frame and just remember why I fell in love with it. So someone like Wretch Free 2, I kind of feel like it would be such a pleasure to draw him, because he's just at that place, and I would love to just capture him and just get him where he really is.
That's a beautiful thing, a really beautiful thing. And hopefully that happens. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, because you're an amazing pencil artist. It goes without saying. And I think I want people to actually take the time out and go and look at the work that he's done. It's because
Thank you.
It's different. It's just, it's amazing, as you say. We're not going to use that word, But
don't.
All right, I won't use that word.
Switch out.
It does something to you when you watch it, and I almost feel like you draw the person into what it is that they're looking at. Winnie Harlow's one is just a prime example of somebody's true reaction to you drawing them. Yeah. So that's what I think that people need to see. What's your favourite piece that you've done?
There's no favourites,
No?
Because each one has a story.
Okay.
Like, each one, because it takes about a month, 2 months to draw a single piece. In those 2 months to a month, there's so much happening in my reality, whether I've just fallen in love, whether someone passed away, there's so much happening. So that each drawing has, even though if I'm drawing someone like Beyonce, yes, it's Beyonce, but there's a story behind that I was going through whilst I was drawing her, what I was going through personally. So saying that I have one favorite, it's like trying to pick a favorite child. I can't, it's my children. I can't.
Fair enough.
Can't pick my children.
Yeah, it's understandable. Answer?
Yeah. And if there's one person, I know you said Wretch, but if there's one person that you would want to meet and hand your drawing to, who would that be? That just if you had one person.
Just one
person. Jeez, off the top of my mind right now, that's quite tough, man, because I'll probably love to draw one of you guys and give it to one of you guys.
I just don't know what bouncers will look like.
Your forehead will go like that.
Shut up.
Don't worry.
To be fair, if you drawed your one, you wouldn't have to put no hair on it. I'm sure it's easy to draw alopecia.
I think in this journey, the beautiful thing about this whole journey for me is going back into schools and talking to kids that kind of really look like me, because I remember going in school, there was no representation. So if I can going back into schools, I feel like it's important for me to just show them that there's, it's not just because growing up in the area that I grew up in, you got the music, which is a great outlet, but art is never seen as something that you could actually go into. But just doing that and just, go in there and letting them know that you can actually have so much peace. You could draw someone and you can end up meeting that person that you drew, whoever it is, just giving them and letting them know that you can make a good living from it as well, financially.
Well, just one more question.
I got one more question as well. Do you want to go first?
Hang on. Yeah. No, go ahead, actually.
I saw a clip of you on the news, and you had your interview about that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
How was it? I saw it. It was on ITV, and that's sick.
It's mad, bro. I hate to sound like this humble, grateful, but I can't put words into it.
Yeah. You can't believe this is happening.
It's hard. It's so when they were even filming me as well, there were people walking by behind me who actually recognized my art and knew what I did. So it was nice to just get their reaction too.
Yeah.
But it's just insane to see that it's just the news, so many people can see it. There's a segment about, not just about me, but what it is that I'm actually doing and the message I'm trying to get across, the Black Lives Matter and trying to give a fresh perspective for Black people. But then I'm also that fresh perspective that people are seeing as well. So it's
100%.
It's wild, bro.
With that black, muscly, gristly, you get me?
Man.
Do you feel like the BLM definitely played a part in you being able to find more power within yourself to know your worth as a pencil artist?
That's a powerful question, man. Yes, to a degree that so drawing someone like Jamie, who's actually a family friend as well, or Tiny Temper, these are people that I felt quite close related to. It's their journey to stardom is so inspiring. Seeing that they can actually have a passion, something that they were passionate about, they can actually monetize, but not just financially, they can actually make people feel joy. It's it's just an overwhelming, crazy, crazy, crazy feeling, to have that. And I don't know, the Black Lives Matter movement and capturing Black people who are inspirational, I feel it's right. It's what I'm kind of supposed to do in a sense of giving because in the art community, it is quite snobby. So when I was first signed to a gallery in Mayfair in 2013, people, when I had my first solo show, people who came from Tottenham that kind of knew me, they were they came into the gallery and they said I can't believe I'm stepping into a gallery in Mayfair. I've never been in a gallery. I didn't think we were allowed to be in these kind of places. So me having that show was almost like showing them that we're allowed anywhere. So just opening the doors, I guess, like, or showing people that it's, you know, it's bigger than like, don't limit your mind. Like, there's so much you could achieve if you just do what you love.
And that was actually my next question. I was going to say, you know, we always like to give advice. So I was going to say, is there anything that you would say to a younger generation now? And I say the younger generation only because obviously I know that there's older people, so to speak, who want to get into certain professions, but it's fair to say that it helps when we can give the younger ones some sort of guidance.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them in terms of either understanding and learning about if they're good at doing art or how to get into it?
First and foremost, you have to be honest with what you're doing, because it's a lot of people get into certain things because it can make money quickly or it can just give them a quick pleasure, but then it's not long lasting and it usually ends up falling apart if it isn't honest. I feel whatever you do, be honest about what you're doing and have the courage to see it through when times get hard, because when times get hard, that's just life showing you that it's a test. And when you pass the test, there's a blessing at the end of the door. So just be honest about what you're doing, be consistent and steer away from bad energy. That is, I think, that's one of the hardest things I've had to do with having close friends before, like knowing that they weren't very supportive or they didn't really understand what I was doing. I had to kind of remove that energy from the life because that was limiting me in terms of my vision. Because like, yo, you're from Tottenham. What are you doing art for? Like, it's a bit gay. Like, you know, they made terms that was just, if I listen to it, it could just hinder me. Crush me, yeah. So have the courage to remove bad energy and negative people from your life and just do what you love.
You know what? I think that is just brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on today. That is...
No, that's brilliant.
It's brilliant. No, it was. What you just said, you know, it's very rare that I'm speechless, touched me, because that is how it is. You need to be able to focus and remove yourself from negative energy. That is so key. That's like a major key, so to speak, as the saying goes. So I think that's really good as well. And it will help some people that are watching today to understand that anything is achievable if you've got your mind right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for taking your time out
to
come on our podcast.
It's an honor.
Make sure you follow him on the socials. Look at his work. See below.
Yeah, man. And it means even like a lot to me and Esther, where you've got such a big following, and even getting you on the podcast is like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I asked some of my friends and they're like, they don't even, do you know what I mean? So it means a lot. And
Appreciate
you even getting your story out, like, trust me, you're inspiring so much people. So yeah,
appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And that's another episode of the Music, Lifestyle and Culture Podcast Wrap.